Hello everyone, this is Ronan Blue, just taking my daily walk here in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, Borneo, East Malaysia. Always a mouthful, but today's topic would be on minimalist weekends. So as a minimalist, you might be thinking that we don't really spend much, we don't really go out much, but really that's not necessarily true at all. We just try to find substitutions for the things that we enjoy. And today I'd like to basically discuss some of the things that minimalists do that are just as enjoyable as you know, those places where you have to pay those big bucks. You know, the places like trampoline or you know, those, sorry, I don't even know because I don't go to those places. So but one thing that minimalists often do that's really cost effective is just simply going to a park, right? It could be down the street from within your neighborhood, or it could be a national park. But when you go to those places, there's a whole variety of things to do, really. You can just use your imagination, right? You can take walks, you know, and then you can go to places where there might not be a lot of people, but you know, you have that gratification of having to get from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill. There's a sense of accomplishment. We often go to parks a lot, and we actually love hiking and going to the mountains as well. So it's pretty cost effective, except for some of the places you gotta kind of drive out a bit, but you know, the cost of gasoline is well worth it. But there's also free things to do around the city as well. You know, there's free museums. You can go in there, educate yourself about your local area, or maybe another little town that you go to. But there's places where you can just go around, and I don't think I've ever been to a place where it didn't have certain attractions that are really appealing to the locals, and it's actually free as well to visit. You can also you know, pull out the board games as well, like Monopoly and Risk and Boardwalk, and I know those very well because that's what we do, right? We sometimes pull out the board games, and you know, we have ourselves a nice little dinner there with family and friends, and playing board games is a really good way to pass the time. You know, especially when you play those really games where you have to think, you know, it's all about just having to entertain everybody there, and a board game does that for you. What you can also do is you can host a movie night as well, using like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime or one of those. I think they have Disney now. You know, just host a movie night and invite your friends over, and you know, pop some popcorn. That's pretty cost effective, and it's all about enjoying yourselves together while watching a movie. Everyone in your basement or whatever. So just enjoying the night. But another way you can enjoy yourself is just by simply going on a bike ride, right? So you can actually, not only just for fun, but you can actually use it as a mode of transportation other than using a car to go to work. You'll be able to save a lot of money in the long term like that. But in terms of entertainment, there's tons of different places where you can just take your bicycle and bring along a friend and go to different bike trails and explore surrounding areas where cars can't even access. So it's a pretty awesome hobby as well. But there's also some side hustles you can do as well. You know, that's a good effective way for you to trade your time for money. Just finding little things besides your full-time job to make a little bit of money, and having fun while doing it, and bringing along a friend as well. Like when we were kids, we used to collect golf balls and sell them back to the golf management there. And when we filled up a whole bag full of golf balls, we would sell it and split the money. So it was fun collecting the balls too. Didn't take that much time either. So that's another good way to spend a minimalist weekend as well. And another thing you can do is you can work on your hobbies as well. You know, you can, whatever is cost effective really. You can learn how to bake a cake, or you can learn how to cook. You know, any of those hobbies out there that would be cost effective to do so. So there's tons of things you can do. But you can also volunteer if you wanted to as well. We tried to do that actually one time. or a couple times, and it's always really popular volunteering. There's a lot of people out there, good for them to volunteer. Sometimes you gotta wait like a couple weeks. You can't just go there and do your volunteering, but you gotta wait a couple days to do so. So it's always good to arrange having to volunteer prior to going. But you can also try out some different kinds of sports as well. There's numerous sports and numerous parks you can go to. You can join together with, I have a friend who joined a co-ed soccer team, and he has fun doing so. He's actually looking for a girlfriend, but yeah, it's a good way to meet people, and it's inexpensive to join those types of clubs as well. So there's also clubs dependent on your age as well. So there's numerous of different options out there for sporting activities. But if you're into going outside, maybe during the night, another good way for minimalists to spend their weekends during the night would be stargazing. You can drive a little outside of the city, or maybe even within the city. It's always better to go outside of the city for this, but if you can go stargazing and look at the stars. It's a good way to, good place to bring your girlfriend as well. She'll appreciate that. And yeah, that's a really good time actually. You just sit down in any comfortable spot, and there's not that many people out there either doing stargazing, and just spending your weekend that way. It's a great way to spend your time. Another kind of good thing you can do is just by going to the library, during the weekend. Sometimes it's better than just staying home on a sofa all day long and just, randomly surfing the television from one channel to the next, not doing, not being too sure what you want to be doing. But by going to the library, there's a whole bunch of people there as well, actually. A lot of people actually take advantage of it being for free. So you have Wi-Fi for free, and you would be using the library's electricity as well. You'll be saving on electricity, and you can get DVDs if you wanted to for movies, if you have a DVD player, that is. And you can get free music as well, and obviously you can read through books and magazines as well. So it's a good way to sit down and educate yourself. I mean, I think that's probably the best kind of entertainment for myself, actually, when I self-educate myself as much as I can. But another thing you can actually do is you can go to local colleges or universities as well. You go in there, you can actually walk straight into a classroom sometimes and sit there and listen to a lecture. I mean, a lot of people don't do that. I used to do that, actually. You're not supposed to, but as long as you're not causing any trouble, I don't find what the issue is. But sometimes I walk into these classes about architecture and also archaeology. And those lectures are usually like an hour and a half, and the professor explains it so well, and he has his slideshows going, and it's pretty exciting. But another thing you can do is you can do window shopping as well. So not necessarily for shopping. If you're a minimalist looking to save money, you don't go to a mall to go shopping, but you go to a mall to take advantage of the air conditioning and go window shopping. Just going from one window to the next, just having that fun looking at products that you don't need. But it's actually fun to just look at the products. It's a good way to spend your time too. But what else you can do is you can go to a farm to pick fruit. It's not that expensive to do so. It's like $5, and you get a bucket, and you go around the picking farm and you pick all these fruits, and you fill up your buckets, and you can bring the fruits home and make your jam if you wanted to. It's actually that's what we did actually. We go to the picking farm and we actually bring our friends along as well, and our families, my niece and nephew. We bring them there, and it's pretty cost effective as well. It's a fun event to do as a family. But another thing you can do is you can, if you have the whole weekend, you can look at your surroundings, your living quarters, and then look at all your furniture. You can actually rearrange everything too. That's actually fun to do too. Do a little bit of cleaning around the home, and just to change the perspective once in a while. It's a good way to really enjoy that time, maybe with your partner as well, and figuring out how to really make the the place of your dwelling more comfortable. But another thing you can try out is just by getting a puzzle. You know, those puzzles are pretty cheap, and you can spend like the whole day or maybe even weeks on it. And what's cool about it is you just place it on, you know, an open space like a desk or something. You can do it partially, or you can think about finishing it, or, you know, there's not too much pressure to make a puzzle, so it's a lot of fun to do so. And you also get to do it with family members too. But another good way is just by simply calling your family or your friends over and just having a good conversation together with them as well. That's a great way to spend a day, and socializing is probably the #1 way to, you know, enjoy your time, and just getting to express yourself and just to hear what your family members or your friends are doing. It's a great way to really spend your day or weekend. And another way is just by meeting new people, socializing. There's a number of different apps you can use. And what you do is you just set up a certain time and meet them. It could be one individual, or it could be a group of people as well. It all depends on what your situation would be, but it's a good way to really spend the weekend, having to socialize and meet new people. But what you can also do is just pick up a good book. You know, you can, on whatever subject that you're interested in, you can also get a book that's a series and read from chapter 1 till the end of the book. You can spend all day if you want to. I know one of my friends actually, his son actually reads pretty much all day long. You can read a book in a day if you wanted to. It's a smart little kid, but anyways, it's a really good way to spend your time getting that knowledge, and it's all in the pursuit of learning more things and new things, and having to spend a good weekend without having to spend a lot of money. But what you can do also is you can play video games. The system in itself is kind of expensive in the beginning. Some of the games are kind of expensive, but you can always go into those game stores and rent games as well. You can also get an older game console too. I'm not too sure. I don't have a video console. I used to, but I stopped playing. But it's a good way to really save on you know, money and enjoying yourself. And you can go to the video store or whatever they call them, those game stores, and pick out certain games you might be interested in. It doesn't cost too much money to rent them either. And finally, what you want to do is you want to look for free things to do. There's a ton of different things you can find for free, probably in and around your neighborhood. You might have to travel as far as downtown or something like that, but then there's a lot of free events, and you should fully take advantage of those free events as well. And you won't regret having to go to some of them as well. I always find that learning something new is really rewarding, and that's what I usually love doing, really. I really don't like wasting my time. I like to always, you know, use my time as effectively as possible where I can. I think I'll end my vlog here today. Tell me what you think of all of the points that I mentioned for what a minimalist would be doing during the weekend there in the comment section below. If you like this vlog, please don't forget to give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell for more of my coming content here. Thank you for watching my vlog. Be free, gain wealth, and travel far.